quick in the manner. But before we start, maybe let me introduce briefly our guests here, so you will know who to contact with after, because as you know, the topic is quite big, and for sure we won't be able to discuss all the details, and we will start with the studies and the research. So I know that you probably will have a lot of questions, but let me start with Edyta Iwaniuk, that Kuba has already mentioned, an independent journalist, and but she's also a local coordinator of program Free Press for Eastern Europe. Łukasz Kijek from Gazeta.pl and also portal Ukraine.pl that you will learn more about later on. And last but not least, Michał Gostkiewicz from UP Magazine. But let's start directly to the recent, okay, we have it, to the studies that was conducted by Cantor, a research analysis company for Free Press for Eastern Europe in 6 CEE countries. It was Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Poland. And Edyta, could you tell us a little bit more about the studies?
Hello again. Yes, so to be precise, yes, I'm a part of Free Press for Eastern Europe, which is an NGO based in Czech Republic, and our main concern is to fight disinformation. And you were talking here about a lot of data, so our project is really based on data. We conducted with Cantor Public, and I was coordinating it, many representative research, as well as focus groups in Poland, which I'm not going to talk about today, but if you would be interested in seeing how people are consuming news, how they trust in media or distrust in media, I will be happy to share it with it. But today, out of 72 slides of the Cantor Public research, which was conducted in 6 countries, we chose 4 altogether with boys here. And the research, what is important, was held before in June, and it's representative, so it's over 1,000 people in each country, but it's a computer, so it was on the website. You have to. The research was led what is called CAVI. This was the method. But it's extremely interesting. You may not agree, but we don't have any Hungarians here, so we will not fight over this results, which was very surprising in these countries. And we have here one of the slides, but maybe I'll just mention, because it's a lot of data here, so, and I'm not a sociologist, I'm an independent journalist, so I already have my own opinions about this research. And I will tell you maybe at glance, in a few sentences, what was the most controversial findings of this research. So, for example, based on this research, we found out that Bulgaria, Hungary, and Slovakia are the most affected to Russian propaganda. And 63% of Hungarians think that Ukraine should surrender to Russia. And 39% of Bulgarians think that they agreed to the sense, and then Russia is fighting in Ukraine because they want to remove Nazis from the Ukraine. So that is supported, this sentence is supported by 39 Bulgarians, so nearly 40% of the population thinks that Russia is removing the Nazis from Ukraine. 32% of Slovaks think like that, 27% of Hungarians, 23% of Czechs, and 10% of Poles. Poland, in this research, has the highest score in terms of this, that we are resistant, I'm a Polish person, to Russian propaganda. And, okay, we have another slide here. You have to know that people in every country, 90% of people talk about war. This is main subject of recent talks in homes, at work, and everywhere else. But only 10% of people in Europe think that they can change their perspective on the war. So that's pretty surprising, but maybe not really, because disinformation is a big issue. That's why we are all working on it to avoid it.
Okay, so I really, the studies are really interesting, so I invite you to talk to Edita later on, because there's like a lot of data is really interesting, and they are quite different, depend on the country. But
yes, and I can share all the research with you. Actually, we have the second premiere of this research. It really didn't reach the wide public, but it was on purpose, so kind of fresh to this research. It was not published, but you can really see and use it in your work, because it's very important to understand your audience. We are all journalists, and we have to look what the people think and how they react to the certain manners, and then we can really adjust our stories and think about it. Reflect on it. It's very important.
Yeah, maybe it will be interesting for your media outlets in your countries to compare and the country situation. But let's go back to Polish media outlets and to the beginning of the war in 2022. How was the policy of your work and inter-editorial and editorial offices when you wanted to share the information with the audience? There were any rules that you decided to work on, Łukasz?
Hi everyone.
Little closer, sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's better? Okay.
That's
Hi everyone again. First of all, I would like to say that I have to thank you, all of Ukrainian journalists, because in these dramatic times, you showed us professionalism, you showed us how to prepare good information, good value information. You work in shelters without electricity. You are a huge example for us, for me especially. And once again, thank you. This is important for me to tell you that. So thank you very much. You are asking about policy. I remember this awful night and day when war started. And for me, it was dramatic moment. My body sent me signal. My body was shaking. Yes, we were prepared for this information. We were prepared for the worst information. But when I heard about this information, it was shocking for me. Yes, and for many users of our Polish media. And I recognize that in this moment, for many people, the word afraid, scary, fear was the most important feeling, word, and for us journalists too. And what I want to say, that still this is one of the most important things. We can't forget about it. Why? Because Russian propaganda, using this fear, especially in that country like Poland, like different country in our region, and they are using it like a weapon. We remember these moments when Polish people rushed on the petrol stations. Yes, it was for us something new. And in these days, in March, we created a special group of editor-in-chiefs of Polish media, and we spoke about that. we decided about what kind of information is true and how can we verify this information. It was really, really important because Russian propaganda used this panic and they produced many fake news in Polish social media especially, and it was dangerous. And this fear is still with us because on the summer we had a situation with sugar in shops. Now we have a fear about nuclear weapon.
Biolabs.
Exactly, exactly. And once again, for us, the most important thing now is to inform really smart and wise about Ukrainians in Poland. Because it could be another step, another Russian weapon, another Russian propaganda. They try to divide us. They are using fake news. They are using idiots in Poland to create that kind of imaginary, and this is dangerous. And this is our policy. We have to remember that this fear is really danger, and we have to control this situation in our stream of information, not to create panic situation. This is probably one of the most thing now for us.
This cooperation between different Polish media outlets. Wirtualna Polska was also involved in this Facebook informal group.
Yes.
But you also, in Wirtualna Polska, did something really interesting at the beginning because you decided to switch off all the comment section on the main page, on the sub-pages, on different sub-pages. How did it work? What was the idea behind it? And was it like a special rule or guideline for people just to get focused on the real information and not to be in bigger fear and in bigger panic that we were obviously at the beginning, all of us were like in this panic attack?
Well, first of all, hi everyone. I will put this thing you mentioned into a bit broader picture, because switching off the comments specifically on each and every text that even mentions the word Ukraine, because that's what the trolls are seeking, is a part of a bigger deal. The deal is, but I will first start with saying thank you to you for bringing us all here, so I can say the next sentence. How to fight an hostile propaganda, be like Ukrainian journalists and have your own narrative. We really should take an example of you all here. We're trying to do that. There are a few ways to do this. One, well, I may be inventing a wheel here, but countering propaganda is one thing. But to counter it, you need expert knowledge on the topic. The easiest way to get expert knowledge is to actually write about certain topics. So not only do you need to dismantle fake news, you need to provide your user with your own content so that the user, after checking what's fake news and what's not, remains in your media and continues to eat your content. And your content, of course, should be true. They will, if you just stick to dismantling fake news, people will go to other media outlets. Second thing is deplatform the propaganda. What's the easiest way? Well, we can't control Facebook, we can't control Google, but what we can control, the easiest thing was to control the comments. And on the first day, we just decided to switch them off. Why? Let me quote my chief editor. Our responsibility is protection from mass disinformation. And now how massive it was. Let me give you two numbers. First number is 2, like 2 days, February 21 and February 22 before the war. The second number is 4.5 thousand pro-Russian opinions and comments in the Polish internet alone. Keywords of these comments. Ukraine is responsible for 8 years of wars in Donbass. Other keywords, murder, child murder, Ukrainians stealing our jobs. So take those statements times 4,500, times 2 days, times 4 days, 7 days, 10 days, months. This is the amount we're talking about. Only in the comments. That's why we switched them off. Hope
Quite
that answers
huge.
your question. We are dealing with things that is really massive. What we could do, we did. I think switching off the comments was a big part of it. We can't control social media, we can control our media.
I mean, that's one tool that you used, but actually in Wirtualna Polska magazine, you also had this opportunity to do something that I actually personally believe it's really unique and really useful when it comes to working in the field, in the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean is to collaboration of Polish and Ukrainian journalists in a team. Could you tell us a little bit more about how does it work in you?
This is the second part of the picture. The first one I mentioned, have your own narrative, have your own content. Of course, at the beginning of the war, the bigger bosses in our company sat down and started thinking, what can we do? Turned out that what we can do, and what we already prepared for, is to send a team to Ukraine to do in-depth reports. And we were extremely lucky to have 3 people. A famous photographer, Mr. Maciej Stanik, he's not here, but please go for his social media. He's brilliant. And he does pictures that move. If his pictures don't move your heart, then nothing can. Second, we had a good Polish reporter who could transfer through his Polish mind and Polish perception of the events, everything that was happening. And we had the luxury of having a native speaker, Ukrainian journalist. She's here. She's with us here, Tatiana, who happens to be one of the best writers in Polish that I know, that I met in my career. So not everyone is so fluent in both languages that gives her the ability to write in-depth reports and interviews and reportages in Polish. So we could do this, and we did. We sent the team a few times already. What they brought from Ukraine were reportages about Bucha, about Irpin, about the front line. But also, it was filtered through both Ukrainian and Polish perception, both Ukrainian and Polish attitude and perception of everything that's happening. That prevented us probably from making many, many mistakes the Western media do. I think it prevented, it stopped us, it saved us from west-planing. I hope so.
Yeah, and probably...
This is the thing that I started with. This is the content that we provide to our users. So if anyone visits Wirtualna Polska, they get both a regular monitoring of what kind of bullshit was spoken on Russian TV today, and we have people who actually follow those morons. And the other thing that the user gets is the news, everyday news from the front. And the third thing are in-depth reports. If one wants to dig deeper, it's all here.
So this combination of in the team is probably giving a possibility to avoid the cliches of
Exactly.
and stereotypes of thinking what the perception of Polish people, what they are thinking about Ukrainian people, the situation in the field. So you can combine all of those things. But I also would like to go back to Ukraina.pl. Let me check this clicker if we have this short video. Okay, let the magic happen.
Як дати собі раду в Польщі? Що може мені допомогти? Як записати дитину до школи? Де і як знайти роботу? А до лікаря записатися? Як? Де про все це дізнатися? На сайті Україна.pl. Мене звати Уляна Вітюк, і я запрошую вас на Україна.pl. Найбільший сайт для українців в Польщі. Ми пишемо про те, що важливо для вас, бо ми, українці, завжди допомагаємо одне одному. Тож, до зустрічі на Україна.pl.
Okay, can you, Łukasz, tell us a little bit more about Ukraina.pl? Because this is the big thing and the big project that is in Ukrainian language.
Yes, this is for me one of the most important projects in my journalism life. Because in this awful time, I was really lucky guy that I met Uliana. Uliana is editor-in-chief of Express, Ukrainian Weekly, and she is editor-in-chief of Ukraina.pl. And we started with this portal, last one in Polish internet, because first was Polski probably, from Wirtualna Polska. Onet had Ukrainian portal.
Yeah, I mean, all the biggest media
Yes.
outlets in Poland had their own sub-pages of sub-services dedicated to war in
Yes.
Ukraine, even before the war. But after the war, I mean, they were growing up because the need was bigger.
It was huge challenge because we knew that we have to create information portal for Ukrainians who arrived to Poland, and it was really important for us. So we started our cooperation with Express from Ukraine. Here on the floor are girls from Express, Olena and Irina. Hi. So you can spoke with them about this project. I have to tell you that now we are really shocked when we are checking our numbers about this project, because now we've got 6 million page views monthly. So this is a really huge project. We've got users from Poland. We've got users from Ukraine. We've got users who are living near to the front line. For us, it is shocking, really. We've got users from Germany. We've got users from Canada. And, you know, the content is king. So for us, it was really important that this content should create Ukrainians, Ukrainian journalists, because this Ukrainian point of view and Ukrainian narrative is very, very important and very unique. So I think that it was the most important thing which created this portal. So now, of course, we are thinking about future. We have to, we want to build this project and we want to create something huge, something really important for Ukrainians in Poland, but not only in Poland. It could be really good place with information from Poland to Ukrainians in Ukraine and in all over the world. So for us, still very important is to inform about helpful information, about how to create documents in Poland, how to find a job in Poland, how to find a house in Poland. But this is not only one thing, and this is not the most important, because Ukrainians in Poland, they live here and they feel good, I hope so, and they need new kind of information and they need new kind of support, and this is a challenge for us.
What you are mentioning, actually, I think we have a full circle here, because what Olga Mirovich said earlier today, that this cooperation with Ukrainian journalists, I mean, they are welcoming us to cooperate, to work with us, to give this different perspective, different mind assets, different experiences. And here, what I'm hearing from you guys is like, yeah, we are working with like international team, with people both from Ukraine and from Poland, because we need this, because we feel this is quite important, and it gives much more understanding.
And I think that you, Ukrainian journalists, you are teaching us. You are teaching us, because this is really important for Polish journalists. we knew about Russian propaganda, and we are resist on Russian propaganda. Yes, in this
Yes,
in this data.
I wait for my voice to
Yes,
praise you.
yes,
guys.
exactly. But your point of view is completely different than Polish, and we have to understand it. When someday I read an article about Russians in Ukrainian media, and it's funny because we spoke about letters, big and little, and in Ukrainian you are writing Russians from the small letter, and in Poland we are writing in a big letter. Yes.
Well, speak for yourself.
Yeah, yes, this is of course alphabet only, and it was funny because we thought that this is your strategy, your disgraceful for Russian, but it's not true. It's only alphabet, yes, and language. So this is one kind of information which was interesting for us, and many situations showed us this Ukrainian point of view, and we have to respect it. We have to respect it, and we have to remember always about it.
Edita, any thoughts about that?
Yeah,
for sure?
yeah. I was making note because I really think it's worth underlining, even if I'm Polish, but I'm looking at the whole region. So really, Poland did well, and the Polish media did well. I mean, Wirtualna Polska, Gazeta.pl, but also Onet, also Okopress, also really like the biggest Radio Z.
Tygodnik Powszechny.
Tygodnik Powszechny, of course.
Don't forget about Krytyka if we are mentioning all the media outlets.
Krytyka polityczna, of course, like smaller and the biggest media
Outriders, exactly.
Outriders, definitely. So, but to understand why they did well, because in Poland you have still the biggest headlines are about Ukraine. We are counting the days of the war. We are reporting what's happening on the front lines, and it's really well done. While in other countries in the region, which is maybe an input for you, maybe you should also cooperate with Czechs, with Slovakians, with Hungarians, with Bulgarians, because it's very crucial that this Ukrainian input, this journalist reports you do so well, and you can exchange the knowledge. So I will call for cooperation also in other countries, because we see, I will use the data because I'm a very happy person to have this data and observe it whole time since February till now, how it's changing. And Poland, that's why Poland has such a big score. 90% of the people are really not listening to the Russian propaganda. They really believe in media, in their reports, in their sources, but they have Ukrainian cooperation. So this is very important, though, about the migration, because this is another focus groups we did in Poland. I'm not going to elaborate a lot, but we talked with over 50 people in Warsaw and Lublin about how they consume the information and how they see the Ukrainian war migrants in Poland. And this is really going bad. You know, this is really important now to present the people who are struggling in Poland for schools, for medical services, because these narratives and Russia want to divide people. So that was the most common answers, that people are afraid in terms of war in Ukraine. They're afraid, of course, of rising prices and all these economical issues, but they, of course, very afraid of taking the workplaces, so the labor market, and schools and medical services. And the portrait of a migrant, where they had this, I also can share it with you, they had to portray a Ukrainian migrant. That was an experiment. The sociologist, I was just listening behind the wall of all the conversation. And and the picture was not very good, you know. There was lots of stereotypes inside, lots of Russian propaganda, how they see the Ukraine war migrants. But why? Because we don't present them very well. So, okay, I have a point here. So, but I also want to thank you that really these cooperations and the work you do, hard, without electricity, very dangerous, lots of people died. We do appreciate, and it makes really a big cost, and you can see it in the data. It's just not my opinion, which would be a part of disinformation, but I have a data for that.
Michał, any final words? Because I know that we are
final. Oh my God.
Running
final
out of
was-
time.
yeah.
I need to make it
I
short.
mean, I will mention that all the Q&A, I will leave you with this guy directly. Yeah.
Sure.
So the final words.
Just a quick, I want to elaborate both on the data you provided and your words, Łukasz. This is, I see this as the biggest responsibility of the Polish media now. We, as Ukraine's closest neighbor, we are, it's my opinion, responsible for bringing Ukraine more to the Western world, because we're neighbors and we like each other. That's a simple fact. But you already mentioned the bad news, the bad image of a migrant. Łukasz already, you mentioned that Russian propaganda is trying to divide us.
Yes.
What can we do as media? Make one step further. Not only counter-react to the attempts of making a division between two nations, what we can do is to come closer, is to create publications, create information, create message in the media sphere that we're bringing our nations closer together. This is what we can make as a step forward. One of those things is how to portray a migrant, how to portray everyday struggle of both Poles and Ukrainians on our soil, on Ukrainian soil. The bad news is what I'm hearing. It's the data I get from the clicks on my website, is that everyday matters don't click. People's dramas, they don't click. Lack of electricity doesn't click, at least for Wirtualna Polska. What clicks? Geopolitical attempts of Vladimir Putin to recreate the empire. Now, what we do about that? What can we do about that? Of course, we have to answer the demands of our readers and give them the clicks, because otherwise we cease to exist, right? No money, no media. But at the same time, we can't be stopped in our attempts. I don't know if you agree with me, Łukasz, but as we agreed that we have a bit of control over the propaganda, if we have the means and power to counter Russian propaganda, we also have the means and power and brilliant journalists, both Polish and Ukrainian, to create message, to prepare reports, to write about all those things that perhaps the readers are not ready yet for, but they're gonna have to be in 2 or 3 months, where the problems will be common. Prices of electricity, price of coal, price of food, everyday struggle. Of course, I can't compare what we have here and what people in Kherson or Mariupol have, or in the occupied territories. But what we can do is show these little similarities. Like, you have it bad, they have worse. Now use your brain. I don't know if you agree.
Yes, I agree 100%. You are fighting about Europe, yes, not only about Ukraine. And we have to still remember about that and still create stories which show us this again and again and again. This is not boring. This is the real true about this war.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We will stop here. It was just the beginning, I guess. But I will leave you with Michał, Łukasz, and Edyta to talk to them directly. And we have a lunch break now? Or
let me give the good news to people,
Yeah.
okay?
Good news.
Food in the newsroom.
Thank you very much.